Hey guys, what's going on? We just got out here to the lake today, just to Folsom. Today's gonna be a little different. We brought only 2 rods. We got a 1/2 ounce jig and a 3/4 ounce jig. And I came out for a little half trip last week, just a couple hours with my buddy Quinn in the afternoon. And I actually was catching some fish on a jig, was getting some bites on a jig. And I kind of figured it'd be the perfect opportunity to kind of take a day and kind of work on the technique. Historically, I used to fish a jig a lot. I'll put a little picture up. My personal best spotted bass out of Folsom for a long time was actually on a jig, 4.5 pounds, that I caught on the main body. And I kind of just stopped throwing them. I was doing a lot of braided leader. I wasn't tying very good knots. I was breaking off a lot on the hook set, just learning stuff when I was younger. And I kind of just put the jig down because of that. Didn't really have a good reason. And you know, now we know how to tie knots, and it's really been years. I mean, I haven't really fished jigs a lot in probably the last 4 years, especially being on the delta all the time and stuff like that. So we're gonna pick the jig up today. We're gonna try and, you know, get the rust off, hopefully get a bite, catch a limit doing that, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Haircut, like it just, oh. There we go, there we go. The old jig, huh? Folsom Lake jig. Is this guy gonna wake up? What are you doing here?
You're hoping for a largie.
It seems like a good spot.
Oh, that's nice fish. You got it.
In the boat.
That's your nice, that's your big one.
Dang, I haven't caught a jig fish in like a long time. That's cool.
Nice fish. 2 pounds?
Yeah, he's probably nice long one. All right. That was a good jig bite. It was just like gug-unk. I was like, all right. Look at that. We're starting to figure something out.
Nice.
All right, guys, so this is the jig that we're going to be starting off the day with. I actually tie my own jigs, so you can call it a cut, carry, cast jig if you want, but it's just living rubber. I've actually been tying jigs for a long time. We just have a little Missile Baits D-bomb on the back there, just straight brown. The other jig we have is 3/4 ounce, and that one's a little bit more of like a tannish kind of color. And I've noticed historically on Folsom, at least when I used to throw jigs a lot of the fish would kind of cough up craws, and they wouldn't ever really be super big, especially out here, but a lot of the times they would be kind of like a tannish, like orange color. I think any of your browns are going to be good, shades of brown, some of the tans and different colors like that. But I noticed this last trip, especially in the South Fork, the water visibility is down a lot right now. It's probably only about 2.5, 3 feet, and especially with these warm afternoons, a lot of those fish are going to be moving shallower, especially in some of these like sandy coves in the South Fork. So that's kind of the bite we're going to be targeting today. We'll see what happens. I'm hopeful we're going to figure them out, and if not, then at least we're going to have a day throwing the jig and kind of getting after it that way. So we'll see what we can do. Wow. All right, we're gonna have to talk about this. So I've been fishing pretty shallow most of the day, and I haven't caught anything, not even one fish. I got a bite and that was it. And I just happened to let my boat spin around, and I saw all these fish just sitting out off the bank. Bank's right here. They're all off the bank in probably like 25 feet of water. We just got one in one cast. So but we're gonna try and fish a little bit deeper, I guess, now. Yeah, we got it figured out now. All right. This one actually feels a little bit better. Yeah, this is definitely a better fish. Off the bank. Yeah, we can't just reel this guy in. This guy's actually moving around a little bit. Oh God, just broke down. Nothing too big, but solid spot for sure. Look at that. That's a long fish. On the jig. Got him hooked nice and deep too. God, this guy's hooked pretty weird. There it goes. That's a decent one. We'll throw him on the scale just to see what he goes. It's probably 2 3/4 probably. Let's see here. And 2 1/2. All right. Here's what they're coughing up. Nice little pond smelt. Maybe like 2 inches or so. Not quite a jig, but they're eating the jig. Largemouth, look at that. Big old butterball too. He actually came up and ate it right when we popped it out of that snag. That was pretty interesting. God, I haven't caught a largemouth in a couple trips. And that's not a bad one, not super fat, but pretty good belly on him. Probably 2 1/4 maybe. We'll throw him on real quick. Yeah, this school's pretty decent size. Maybe like 15 20 fish down there doing their thing. Yeah, another solid 2-pounder. Well, we're just headed back into the ramp now. The jig day ended up being a jig-tastrophe a little bit, but we caught those 3 fish. I feel like we learned a little bit. Was kind of hoping maybe we could get at least a limit and you know, a dozen fish or so, but that's not what happened. That's okay. We might get out another day this week. I'm not totally sure. Got a lot of work stuff this week that we got to take care of, but I would say it was more about finding the fish, not really as much about getting bit. It seemed like when we did find a school, we were able to generate quite a few bites. But yeah, I just think that falling water kind of screwed us. I feel like a lot of times when that lake drops, the fish scatter and stuff gets weird. We did kind of check a couple spots where we saw fish last time and they just weren't there anymore. So that's just kind of what happens sometimes. But like I said, we learned a little bit, and we're gonna keep throwing this jig, see if we can figure it out.